Hi, how are you guys doing? It's Monday, April 13th, 2020, and Sebastian's over in the window playing, so you're going to hear him like trying to get the outside bugs stuff. We just finished raining stuff this afternoon. So we are at Fluency, and Fluency is, I went ahead and rearranged our papers so that way we can have the entire storybook. This is page 1, page 2, 3, page 4, which we have to finish, page 5, which is edited somewhat, but we have to go ahead and finish editing that, and then our works cited page, excuse me. So Fluency is where we're at, and I went ahead and filled in some of the areas for Sebastian, our rescue kitty, and exactly the story that we're writing. Last Friday, I went ahead and did the reading books and read to you so that you could understand and you could hear the ideas and content in the picture books, that you could do organization, you could hear voice, and that you were listening for word choice as we were reading. And if not, it takes time. So you can't do it like right away, like right now, but the more you do it, the more you're going to get used to hearing specific words. And I put our dictionary that we used behind here. So we have all our dictionary words here if we need to get it on our works cited page. That would be our appendix. So if we were going to turn this in as a research paper, we'd go ahead and type it up and we would have a title page. And our works cited would be at the end, but then behind the works cited page would be our appendix, which would be all our dictionary words that we actually used to revise and edit and to draft this writing piece. So any writing piece can be turned into a picture book. It depends on which type of picture book that you want. This is a higher level picture book that we have here. This is a low level. This is like kindergarten level picture book. So is Mulberry Street was low-level picture book that I read last week twice. And then I went and incorporated Goal, which I love because of the word choice. And the word choice actually tells pictures and supports the pictures that you see in here. It's actually a wonderful picture book, but it's for higher kids, for higher grade levels, which are 4th through 8th grade. Okay, specifically for word choice and for Fluency because it works really well. There's others out there as well. These are just an example. They're not the end-all list because my list is more than 50 books just for one trait. And I have that many, if not more, for each trait that we have. These are just happen to be the books that I unpacked since I still am unpacking from moving. And you're in my art studio, as you can tell. I have my art this week, and we used a few of these for examples because this is all planned out and how you actually create something like this. And then I'll end up selling this and stuff. So it needs paper backing. And so that's my next feat. And then everything else is done. This is sealed and stuff. So that's why they're up here on the top. So that way the air, and they have string that separates them so that they're stored properly. Okay. You can see little Sebastian. There he is. There's Sebastian. Hi, baby. That's a good boy, huh? That's a good boy. He loves that windowsill, and he likes to watch me videotape. So he doesn't know I'm talking about him, but he sits there quite often when I'm videotaping. So you can rest assured that, yes, he's sitting there, and he's watching me like, wow, what are you doing now? Hello, Harvest Moon is another great one for Fluency that I read last week that I love. I forgot, or I ran out of time for this one. I did Summertime in the Woods by Laura Ingalls, and I just like it because I like the Ingle Wildwood series that you used to read when you were like in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. That was really kind of fun too. So I forgot, and well, I didn't have time, Circumference, and it's a math book, and the First Round Table, and Math Adventure. I love it though because of the word choice, because math has different word choices, and you have to use specific words in math in order to understand it. And if you don't know the vocabulary, then you're going to be lost, as I'm sure Miss Niels and Miss Russ are teaching you. King Arthur has a problem. When his knights get together, they sit at a long table that everyone has to shout to be heard. And you know as well as I do, if people shout at each other, then they're not really listening to each other at all. Can Circumference and Lady Di of Amateur measure up to the challenge of building a better table? And you know, when I read this, I'll slow down, and no, I'm not a math teacher at all. I don't ever profess to be one. However, you'd have to ask Miss Neal and Miss Russ. They're the math teachers, not me. I'm reading in English. I can do all the other topics, as you know, biology and psychology and physiology and all those other ologies and isms and stuff like that. But I do and will never claim to be a math teacher. I do know how to do math. You had to do it for your degree. However, I am not that proficient in it and I do not want to be. So I give them kudos to them, but I love the book. The book is really cute. Explore the castle, watch a tournament, and ride along with Circumference as he searches for the shape of the future. Noisy nights, a clever carpenter with a juggling gesture all add to the fun. So we're going to read that. And this is Cindy Neuschwander and Wayne Gehan is the authors of this book. Remember, word choice and fluency. So you're listening for the academic vocabulary for math, and you're going to see it all the way up to calculus and algebra. And then you're going to see other fluency things here. And remember, you have to have organization, and this is somewhat organized then as well. Okay? Is he going to sit? He might be sitting right there. That's cute. So circumference on the first round table. How about if I read to you, Sebastian? How's the honey? Are you going to listen? Yes, bright eyes. Here we go. You ready? Here. Are you ready, baby? Okay, long ago in a land as Camelot, there lived many knights and ladies. Their ruler was a mighty but gracious man named King Arthur. I know. During many years of peace and good harvest, the people lived happily. The trouble began when they saw the army of their neighbors to the north. That's north than our house, huh? Gathering at the border. These people known as the circumscribers looked as if they might be preparing to make war. Don't fall asleep on me, okay? I know. I'm sorry. King Arthur called upon his bravest and most trusted knights to plan what to do. And look at Sebastian. There's the picture. The knights rode as fast as they could to the king's castle. Circumference lived nearby, so his family came with him. Circumference was married to Lady Di, who came from the town of Amateur. They had a son named Radius, and Radius was very small and quite young. Small like you, baby. But his keen mind and boundless energy more than made up for what he lacked in height and age. There he is. See? After the first day of meetings with all the king's knights, Circumference sat with Lady Di. "Ooh," he groaned, "my throat hurts. I have to shout to be heard at the other end of that long rectangular table. Everyone has to shout, and the king is very upset." "Why don't you fix the table?" suggested Lady Di. "How can we do that?" Circumference asked. "Well," said Lady Di, "you could cut it in half. Look, here's a drawing of the table. It has two sides and two short sides. If you cut it in half and you put two halves side by side, you'll have a table with 4 equal parts." "Lady Di, what a good idea." Circumference called for the carpenter, geometry. Geo began work immediately. The next day, the new table was ready. Everyone commented on the wonderful square shape. However, another problem arose. What do you think, Sebastian? Pretty good, huh? Yes. At each corner of the table, the knights whispered to each other while someone else was talking. Sir Galahad exclaimed, "King Arthur, how can we meet to discuss a solution when people talk secretly to each other?" Excuse me. "Sir Galahad is correct," King Arthur responded. We have come here to talk of defending our land against the circumscribers, not to talk in secrecy. After the meeting, King Arthur told Circumference a new table was needed. That night, Circumference told Lady Di about the problems with the square table. Lady Di thought a moment and then said, what if we cut the square table diagonally? We could put the two halves together to make a diamond." She drew a diagram and said the king could sit at one end and you could sit at the opposite end, and everyone would be close enough to hear, but the knights would not be in any tight corners. After seeing the plan, Circumference agreed that it was a good idea. Geo the carpenter said, in carpentry class they call this shape a parallelogram. I will have the table ready by the morrow. The next day, Sir Lancelot and Sir Gawain, you leaving me already? Am I that boring? Were amazed to see the table in the shape of a parallelogram. The others liked it. There he goes. Oh, he's going back to the window. But King Arthur was not happy sitting at the sharp point. Right there. The king let the knights have jousting practice and the sword play while he spoke with Circumference. Circumference? The point of the table sticks into me like a sword. We need to think about the ways to prevent war, but this table makes me feel like fighting. Can you fix it? I will do my best, sire, said Circumference. The afternoon, he stood by the field and watched the others joust. It was a beautiful day with blue skies and flags flapping in the breeze. Sir Gawain's flag was blue and with a white cross. Sir Lancelot's flag was green with lions, and Sir Torres' flag was green with an eagle. The flags were all similar in shape. They were all triangles. That's it, said Circumference, a triangle table. Circumference called Geo and explained. Geo said if we cut the parallelogram table in half, that would leave two triangles. One triangle would be too small. So they measured the proposed triangular table and realized that 4 people could not fit on each side. Geo, let's think some more, said Circumference, and he went to discuss the shapes with Lady Di. Yes, said Lady Di, the triangles would be too small, so cut off the corners like this. You cut here, you cut here, and make an octagon. Look, it will solve the problem. You cut here, and you cut them off, and then you have an octagon. Circumference drew up the plans for an oval table for Geo. The table is going to be harder to build since it has no straight edges, said Geo. I will begin at once, so there's the oval that's in the center of it with no straight edges. When the knights met again, they were all impressed by the oval table. Sir Lancelot suggested that they raise their goblets and drink a toast. All the knights raised their goblets, but there was a great commotion from the ends of the table. The knights at the end of the oval table bumped into the king as they raised their goblets. No one had enough room. Some of the knights began to argue, then King Arthur shouted, "Stop! All leave me until tomorrow, except for Circumference." After talking to King Arthur, Circumference returned home discouraged once again. Radius piped up, "Father, when I have a problem I cannot solve, I do something else for a while. Why don't we go for a ride?" That afternoon, Circumference, Radius, and Lady Di went riding. No one said much until Radius shouted, "Father, look! A tree has fallen over." "So it has," observed the knight. "Don't you see, Father? Here's your table." Lady Di got off her horse for a closer look. She stood on her tiptoes, stretched her arm as high as it could go. Her fingertip just met the upper edge of the trunk. "It should be big enough," she said. "This part is as tall as I can reach, and the wood seems to be a good quality." Circumference summoned Geo to cut a cross-section of the trunk to make into a tabletop. It is right here. "Leave the bark on the outside edge," he told Geo. "I like its rough feel." Geo and his helpers sawed through a huge tree trunk. Then they hoisted the heavy slab onto the ox cart, and off they went to Geo's workshop. Geo worked all night building the new table. When the knights met the next day, the table was finished. Everyone was content. No one shouted or whispered. No one felt cornered or trapped. No one was poked in the stomach, and no one felt squished. Everyone had an equal position around the table. As they talked, they decided the best plan was to try to make peace with their neighbors. King Arthur was so pleased that he announced they would celebrate that night. Soon, everyone was enjoying the music, dancing, and banquet. Suddenly, the music stopped. A messenger rushed in and handed a sealed parchment to King Arthur. The king read it and smiled. Ladies, knights, and guests, I have excellent news. The circumscribers are not planning an attack. They want only to measure the area of their kingdom. There will be peace in the land. Yay! Hooray! Everyone cheered till the king held up his hand for silence. To honor these knights who gathered at this table and save our kingdom, let them henceforth is a transition word, be known as the Knights of the Round Table. Let us thank Circumference and Lady Di and their son Radius. They made this round table possible. Everyone cheered again. Yay! Diameter. Furthermore, because Lady Di of amateur has a reach that is equal to the distance across the table, we will name this measurement for her. We will call it the diameter. I am proud of Radius, too, added King Arthur. Someday he will become a fine knight. He may be small, but he has tall ideas. Everyone nodded and clapped. Let us call this small measurement from the center of the circle to the edge of the radius, radius. Finally, let us not forget our clever Circumference. Since it was his idea to leave the bark on the outside edge of the table, we will name the outside edge of any circle after him. Let us call it circumference. Around the outside edge is circumference. That is the area of a circle. Circumference bowed to the king as everyone rose from their seats and began cheering and whistling and stomping their feet. It was the happiest celebration that anyone could remember. King Arthur has a problem, but they solved it. And now if you look, circumference is on the shield at the beginning of the book. You didn't notice that before, probably, knights, castle, but now you do, which is neat. And then this is the stump that he has his foot on from the tree, from the table, which is cool. That I love. That is word choice and fluency that we have. Word choice, here's fluency, a rhythm and a flow, a variety. So you didn't hear the same sentence start over and over and over again with the same word. It was something different. Exceptionally strong control of standard conventions of writing, effective variation in sentence patterns. Okay, so you want the sentences have to be strong, but then you also have craftsmanship and you have effective variation in sentences. I just combined conventions and fluency, the bottom two trays, and I'm looking at 6, exemplary. I'm looking at 5, strong. Those are both your 90 to 100%. Strong control of conventions, errors are few or none at all, minor in conventions. So that's the last thing that we do, but the fluency plays an important part in conventions, your word choice, and your voice. You have to have all of them, all of these traits flow together, complement each other, just like circumference, radius, and diameter complement each other. It's the same thing. You can't have one without the other. You have to have all of them or it doesn't flow. You don't have a rhythm. You don't have a beat. You don't have a good variety. Generally, this means you're in control of your sentences. You've purposely planned them, which we did. We've used our rubric to make sure all our details are here. We have used our picture books to make sure that all the details are there each day and to pull things out because you can hear the trait in the picture book, just like circumference, radius. Oh, what was that other one? Circumference, radius. Oh, that's right. Lady, diameter. There you go. Say general to specific. He loves his soft, wet food and does not matter if it is chicken, turkey, or beef. We went from general, which was over here, which was basically our, if I look at our notes, right here, our notes were very general that we have underneath here. And we added the specifics to it to create our sentences. So saying that, we're looking at, I'm going to start with ideas and content because then we're going to read this to make sure we have all those there present and our traits flow one to the next. Because remember, we're working on fluency. So the last thing besides convention. So this should be typed up. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it typed up or not. So, but we're going to talk about published piece and we're going to talk about that presentation at the very end because that's important as well. Like proper heading and how it's typed. And if you have any typos at all, takes away from that published piece, takes away from your voice, takes away from the fluency, takes away from conventions. And they actually take 2 to 10 points for every item that's not there when they score your paper, call that scoring, or you earn that final grade. So you need to keep that in the back of your head also, just like you had all the other traits in the back of your head, because as we walk through this, this is your grade. This is what you earned and you planned it. Did you plan it well enough? Did you do enough research? Remember, halfway through I said I have to do more research. I'll get back to you tomorrow, and I did more research. And that paragraph was full of research in there then too. So because we didn't have enough to begin with, so I needed to go ahead and do more. That's why we came up with the works cited page, which is here. And then we have our dictionary page, which is here, because it proves and it shows that we have done the research, that we have looked up words, that we understand the meaning of words, which takes us to Sebastian means. What does Sebastian mean? And I'm going to come back and visit this right before we end the segment stuff so that you have that for next time so you can see it. But Sebastian means revered. It's a Latin term. It's also Greek, which means fighter, a warrior, but revered or majestic is in Latin. And majority of the time, people name their male children Sebastian. It's a male name, but there are some female names as well. And that also means majestic or like queen. So my cats came out of nowhere and became my everything. So that's how the book starts. I love how it starts because our Sebastian, our rescue kitty, is the title. Remember I said I didn't know if we were going to keep the title because I usually like to do my titles last, the very last thing that we do, just like when you're doing an art piece. Okay, I don't have all this on there at first. What I do is have it in a cup, dip it upside down, and there's actually glue and medium in here. And then when I have glue and medium, I actually put it in the corner like this, and then I actually tip it back and forth, and it creates this design on its own because it's a chemical reaction that takes place as the paints are mixing and as the glue attaches. My name is on here because that's the last thing that I did, the very last thing. Okay, and sometimes they stick together. It goes over on the back, and I literally take my hands and do this. So you'll see me do this quite often on my paintings. But this, you also see a gloss on here. See it kind of like shimmers and shines. So this has been sealed. I'm not touching the paint. There's oils on my hands that are on here. I can wipe this off, and the oils will come off. So nothing will stick to this. But this is a design that was created by paint that was mixed with chemicals that were mixed with glue, basically, and that's what they call acrylic pours. Okay, and you put the cup, and I actually put the cup here, and then the cup moved, and I let go put the cup up, and the paint went out, and the paint really drizzled through the piece just like this, and created this design. And it's on canvas and stuff, so I back it and everything, and then I put my name on it, and then I will sell it this way, so it will be hanging. Okay, which is really nice. They each have their own, right, Sebastian? So these are not my prettiest. How was that going to come out? Just a second, I'm going to pull it. Here's another one that I did. I did gold with this one. And I'm not quite sure I like it. I might redo it. I like the shimmer of the gold. I like how there's little pockets here. But again, it's been finalized. And I probably won't sell these for very much because I really don't like them. Somebody might be able to use them in their decor. I like them, so we'll see. I don't throw too many things away at all, which is nice. My cats came out of nowhere and became my everything. Sebastian, are you going to get on this? Mommy's going to read this to you, okay? Sebastian is that kitty who wanted to survive as his instinct kept him alive. It did, didn't it? I can honestly say Sebastian is a joy. He is a delight. A kitty that knows what he wants and lives up to his name. Sebastian's name means revered and majestic. You're majestic, aren't you, huh? Yes, you are. I know. Yes. He loves his soft, wet food and does not matter if it is chicken, turkey, or beef. Sebastian loves his food warm as he is still getting his teeth. Baby teeth that can break easily. Mommy warms his food every night so it is mushy. Later on, he will be able to eat more hard, dry food, just like his big brother, Tigger. Sebastian eats twice a day and has treats 3 times a week, don't you? Because you want you too fat. We took him off the milk as I found out is not that good after a certain age, according to the vet. And now you are 10 or 11 weeks old is all he is. So according to the vet, he only needs exact amounts. Name on your list the exact amounts for his age. I didn't get anybody to actually put anything in. I'm still waiting for you guys to put stuff in, explain and describe Sebastian in your own words. So I need like 10 of you like to add stuff to the Google Classroom. So since we sent out the emails again and the invite, I'm hoping that I get this information so I can fill it in and then I can put it on another paper. Otherwise it's going to be blank and I'm going to have to add my own stuff. Right now I'm not going to. I'm still going to give you a chance. Okay. Transition sentence. Sebastian is a lucky kitty who has a bucket of toys and gets fed twice a day. Say yes, I'm ready, huh, Sebastian? Right? That's a big boy. It's a big boy. I know you like to play. Yes, you like to play. I know you do. Yes, I know you like to play. Yes. Okay, indent spaces, 5 spaces. Sebastian loves his toys as he continues to throw them up in the air, plays catch with himself. When he plays catch many times, Sebastian will miss, roll around on the floor, and chase his toy across the room. I had the delight to watch Sebastian grow, play, run, romp from one end of this house to the other. He is usually at top speed. He's getting older, can you tell? Because now he's sitting and he's watching. Before, he just had to go, and then he would collapse. Go, and he would collapse. Now he's laying on the couch with Misty and actually sleeping together. So they mirror image again, which is cute and fun. Sebastian loves to stop on a dime, which means he will flip over completely, but always land on his feet. Silly kitty, silly kitty. He loves to chase his tail round and round. So many laughs. I would probably add, he likes to he's grabbing my hand like this and stuff, but he actually likes to claw, and my hands are all clawed up because he likes to play and then he likes to bite. So I'm teaching him now not to bite as much and that he can still claw, he can still play like that, but he's not biting anymore, which is good. So he's getting older, but he can't bite when he gets older because it's going to hurt. And it's like, otherwise my hands are going to look terrible, like road maps. Sebastian chases Misty around the house. She finally lets out a loud meow. He stops, looks at her, then pounces after her again. Oh my! Sebastian then copies Misty when it is dinner time. They both sit and meow, meow, meow in unison for their food. Add your voice to our story and our dialogue. I asked you to do, but no one did that either. So punctuation we looked at, we circled the words, we added to it, and we're going to keep them this way that they are, okay? Transition sentence, my delightful timeline, is from, I'm asking you to add your voice to explain for dialogue. Otherwise, I have to pick up where the meow, meow, meow is and add our transition sentence up here at the top to actually make this paragraph work and fold into our reliable facts, supporting facts, verifiable facts, main idea, what did you learn, can you teach others, which relates to our works cited. It's almost time for us to go. So today we looked at fluency and voice and word choice, precise chosen words, strong, fresh, vivid images, expressive, engaging, strong sense of audience. We have an audience today. It's time for me to go, okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe.